Boop-a-doo-doo. Okay. Time to get busy painting. I'm painting in behind mode, so therefore I need to fill in the eyes so they don't get filled in by the flesh tone. Cool beans. Save that. Rewind. Okay. Color reference. So, let's do this part by hand. Probably. So all these should fill very similarly. So, B key. Okay. Back here. Okay, so I guess that would be the actual local color. Okay, that's going to require some touch-up, no doubt. That's okay. We're all sitting home avoiding COVID-19, so we've got nothing but time, right? Nothing but time. By coloring in behind mode, it makes it a little easier because I can just scribble over all this, and it's impossible to accidentally paint over something that's already been painted, right? So there's that. And then we'll just shrink this puppy back down. Truth is, I probably could leave these uncolored because the background's going to be kind of dark. Anyway, oh, I guess I probably should have finished out these. Looks good. Okay. Alright. Same little touch-up process here. A little bit right there. A little bit there. Probably should fill his teeth. Boom. Fill. Let me see what happens if I hit that twice. Yeah, it helps a little bit, but that's one of the disadvantages of being behind mode, I guess. Oops, we got a little issue right there. Okay. So now we can go back with the brush, touch up all this. I am going to switch to normal mode for a little bit of this here. Whoops. Oh. Well, I am a silly goose. Whoops. My bad. I was, I had the flesh tone, not the hair tone right there. So what I was saying is I can really probably leave these little ditties as they are. But, like I also said, baby, we got nothing but time. Nothing but time. Boom. Boom. Philly, 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 boo. Okay. A little issue right there. Okay, so now we need to get his garment. This should be fairly straightforward. Fill. 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 Easy peasy. Okay, save our work. You know the rule. Really save often. Okay, so one slightly tricky aspect to this particular shot is that he would be... He's front lit. He is front lit because... So I'm just going to kind of wing it here and see if it kind of turns out okay. Just want to kind of get a little bit of that shadow there. Let's turn this down and see how that feels. Yeah, that's probably fine. Okay, so let's scooch this up just a little bit so we can see what we're doing. And we'll hit Control Insert, and then Insert, Insert, boom, boom. I guess we want to insert a key there. I know you're saying, wait, Dave, something's wacky there on his thumb. Yep, I see it. I'll come back and get that here shortly. Boom. Didn't like that. I should zoom in a little bit and be slightly more careful on that. That's too much. Boom, boom. Again, I guess we can always just chisel back into it, right? Chisel, chisel, chisel. Darn it, I keep making those babies too big. Okay, so okay. And actually, probably should shrink this down slightly so I can kind of get the whole frame in the screen. So what I was about to say and didn't was that maybe, okay, we're going to shade this a little more. Maybe we should go in and put a little bit of shadowing under his eyes. So I'm going to kind of, do it like that. Kind of get this. We don't have to be too meticulous, and this is what I was talking about, is a little bit of shading with his hair and stuff. So it's fine. Boom. Boom. Don't have to be super meticulous because each of these frames is only on the screen for 2 frames. They go by real fast. Bum, 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 bum. So that's why we can get away with making his expression so exaggerated. Right? Okay. And then we'll go ahead and get in close here. Make it look good. And that's that. Okay, save. And then the only other thing is what I was saying about his face, so. I'm actually thinking maybe just a little. Yeah, I kind of like that. What the heck? Let's go with it. Okay, so save that. Hit the rewind button and boom. Okay, so I decided I was going to go in behind mode here in the ink. I'm just going to go like so. Yellow is my chosen color, so that's that. Okay. Now, the question is, I guess that's a pencil test? Is that the pencil test? Yeah. We don't need that anymore. Get rid of it. You're out of here, baby. Rule of thirds. Don't need that. Color key. Don't really need that either. We just need to put in a background. So save our work. And let's go to the background archive. Images, backgrounds, and we need the one of these. Let's see what we have in Blender. Yeah, it's kind of the medium. Oops, medium distance. So this is a fairly large image, so I can scale this up. Insert that as a new layer. Hit the A key. Kind of get it where we want it. And then let's go ahead and add a slight blur filter, lens blur, of usually about 15 seems to be pretty nice. And okay, I'm gonna rethink that. Hold on. That feels a little strong to me. So let's go lens blur. If you want to be careful, the way to do it is just do 5 degrees. And then, if it's not enough, just hit Control F to repeat the 5 degree blur, and that takes care of it. So now what we want to do here is I do want to group him. So we'll call this Zen. And let's just see how this feels. Boom. Okay, so now let's go back here and get to the spot where all this takes place. He accidentally biffs Sakari. Biff. Rolls back his arm. And pow. So there's the shot we're redoing. The actual... yeah, that's an AVI. I'm just going to literally delete this. Deleted. Gone. And then we'll go right here so we can drag it to the right spot. And just check in color here real quick. Yeah, we really don't have any color correction here, so we're gonna try to color correct this thing more globally across the whole scene instead of doing every single clip, right? So save that and let us render. And we'll call it what it is, 140c.mp4, except Krita is kind of dumb about saving things where you... oh, shoot, stop that. About saving things where you want it to save things. It doesn't remember the last location, which I can kind of see the point. Technically, the last location you accessed was where you got the Krita file. I've actually thought about taking my Krita files and my images and throwing them in the same folder just so I don't have to keep, you know, scrolling back and forth from one folder to another, but 'tis what it is, and there it goes. This should be fairly quick. It's only 42 frames, so cool. Now we go back here, and if you're into animating with Krita, One thing I will point out to you is that the default settings in Krita for rendering will not show thumbnails on the MP4s that are exported from Krita. And by the way, this also assumes you got Krita set up to know where MPEG is located, or FFmpeg. I'm not going to get into that now. But as you can see, we can see the thumbnail. So you may wonder, if you're the curious sort, how is this possible? Okay, and actually, so I gotta tell you, I don't like Blender 2.82. It introduced too many changes that broke functionality that was consistent for the last 20 years, and that right there is one of them. For one thing, you have to grab your clips with your left mouse instead of your right. And for another thing, if it's selected, if you try to drag it, of course now it'll work, but I've seen this happen time and time again, is that it'll either extend this end or that end, but it just won't let you drag it around. The only way it lets you is if you hit Alt-A to deselect everything and then re-grab it. Just weird, goofy stuff. So let's save our edit. That's that. And I think we're probably... Pow. Okay, I could see holding this a little longer. Pow. Yeah. So let's just make sure that... Okay, what is that doing? Well, of course, that doesn't make sense because he would still be there. So that's that. And then what we want to do here, again, hit Alt-A. I only mentioned that about Blender 2.8 because somebody on YouTube posted a comment and just asked me quite recently, hey, why don't you check out Blender 2.82? And I just answered his comment today. Yeah, I tried it. Not real impressed. Okay. It could be argued that maybe the boom should be on the screen longer, but I'm going to go with it for now. Save that, and I think we're done with this shot, honestly. I don't think there's a lot of need to massage it a bunch more, so let's just roll back a few shots and just kind of see how things are flowing. Like that shot. That shot was actually fixed up a bit. Okay. Okay. This shot should probably be brought into... Oh, this is still frames. What the heck was I thinking? Okay, so the problem with this shot right here is that you can't really see the Ninja guy's outlines very well. And that is... Let's just look at what these... Well, I'll tell you what. I said we were going to sort of watch this and see how it's flowing, so we'll come back to that. That's okay. That's okay. That's improved. That's fine. And down she goes. And, oh no. Pow. Okay, cool. So this is what I was talking about. So this is another Blender 2.8-ism, is if you want to go somewhere in the timeline, like I said, for the last 20 years in the video sequence editor, you can click anywhere. And you could in Blender 2.8 as well. 2.82, nope, you have to click up here, which is how Hit Film Express works, and I don't favor that approach. Let's put it that way. Okay, so this is a TIFF. If it's a TIFF, it almost certainly came out of OpenToonz, which is kind of good news. 137. This is probably going to be a real treat to find, but let's give it a crack because I really would like to tighten up the outlines on this guy. They look like they're non-existent. What did I say that was? 137, 0137. Okay. And here in OpenToonz, we see no 0137. However, 0141 has a lot of frames, which means it wasn't trimmed down in the past. So, could be that the sequence I'm looking for is embedded in this particular OpenToonz file. So, we'll kind of find out here if I'm going to be Mr. Lucky. Yeah, this OpenToonz scene file has a lot of archival stuff. So yeah, boy oh boy, we're gonna have to go way downstream here. Way downstream. That's alright. Old stuff. Watch, it'll get right up to the part that I want and end. It could happen. It could happen. Boy, that drawing of a car horrid, man. I got a lot of stuff in here that... Ah, there it is. There it is, folks. I found it. Right there. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. We've only got 2 frames. So I'm going to go ahead and... Boy, oh boy, oh boy. How do I want to approach this? Well, let's just set a start frame here, start marker here, end marker here, and resave this as the one we're looking for, which was at 136. Yeah. So, whoops. Let's file, save scene as 0137. Okay. So, cool. Now we can see we've got that. That's fine. So the basic issue here is, oh, wait a second. Is this a, I was wondering if this is in fact a raster or Toonz raster level. But, that's what we wanted. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to darken that a little bit. Golly, I think that did the trick. So we're going to get 2 shots done here for the price of 1. Nice. Okay. Okay, cool. File, save all. Can't rename file. I don't even know what OpenToonz is trying to tell me there. This is render. So 0137.001. Wow, that's interesting. This one was a TIFF, wasn't it? This one's a TIFF. And that's a ping. That's kind of interesting. So let's just look at this for a minute. We've got 1, 2. So obviously I cut that. Okay, yeah. Got it. So I went from this to this. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring this into Krita and fix it. So let's go R for render. We're going to fix this the hard way. Let me go back though real quick and just look and see if this was already edited in Krita, because it's possible it was. I thought I already checked this, but 0137. So just doing a real quick check up here on the other screen. And there is a 0137, and it's dated June of last year. So maybe, let's see what this is. Okay, okay. Well, I don't really see the point of... Okay, I see what I did. I just did the 2 extra frames. Oh boy, that's kind of dumb. Okay, let's think about this for a minute though. This is clunky. The reason it's clunky, yeah, see, that's the patch layer. The reason it's clunky is because now we've got an OpenToonz scene we can render that's got the appropriate outlining in it. So what I'm going to have to do is take this into the Krita file and match the outlining. Well, that's a little clunky, but there are worse things that could happen. So what I'm going to do first of all, OpenToonz is acting like it's going to crash. No, nope. So while it's thinking in my other screen, I'm going to get rid of my erroneous levels. Remove all unused levels. Okay, okay. And here, there we go. Okay, so what we want to do is just dump this stuff in a temp folder. So there's temp, and I'm just gonna call it N1. And did I call that N1 or M1? It's looking a little fuzzy on the screen. Okay, so there's that's saved. File, save all. Okay, so now I should be able to bring these into Krita. These are the intermediate frames. So what we're going to do, let's do it this way. Let's import animation frames, add the images, and we're going to go to anime, Val's anime temp. Got it. And what we want is just these two. Let's load them in. We'll see if they're the same size, because they actually might be. Okay, the background's wrong. Well, gee. Okay. This might be interestingly doable in a clunky, but let's see if it's effective sort of way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got this the old layer turned off. So now one thing I want to check here is my sizing. Okay, well that's obnoxious. How did that come out slightly too? I wonder if this is actually, hold on, I want to check the canvas here. So let's go image, resize canvas. Okay, it's 1280 by 720. So that means we need to just scale that up slightly. Actually, let's do it with a transform mask. Okay, so kind of a silly thing to have to do, but there it is. Okay, so now step 2 is let's flatten that layer so that bakes the transformations into it. Let's make sure everything looks good. There's no weird stuff going on. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want this on 2s. So there's going to be 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, and then I think, yeah, this should work actually. Okay, so then we've got these two, and what we're going to do is put these on 4 and 2, right? And then what we need to do is add a transform mask to that layer. Saving our work, and Krita died. Doggone it. Doggone it. That hasn't happened in a while, so I'm not going to complain too loudly, but that is definitely a little frustrating. You know, the problem that we have here is that to do the same thing in OpenToonz, it's a little dangerous. What we would have to do is clone this. We would probably want to clone the layer, get rid of everything except those 2 frames, and then do our cutting and pasting so we don't destroy the TLV file that's being referenced right here. If that doesn't make any sense to you, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. It's all good. Gotta rerun Krita now. Rerun Krita. Come on, baby. Yes, rerun Krita and see what we can do. All right, see how far we got before it puked on us. Okay, how far did we get? Oh yeah, that's the patch layer. Okay, unbelievably, guys, this is really embarrassing. Unbelievably, this does not happen very often. I deserve to be taken out and spanked. Krita 4.2.9 has been quite stable, and I just committed the cardinal sin. All the time I was working on that, I never saved my work even once. What kind of a silly goose does that? Well, a silly goose like me, apparently. So I hate to waste your time. If you're not a patient YouTube watcher who absolutely loves listening to me talk, then you're probably going to go, Dave, why don't you edit your video? Or you're just going to tune out. I can understand that, so I don't begrudge you if you quit watching now, because I have to completely redo some stuff. Silly, 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 silly. Shouldn't take that long though. What I'm going to do is the same thing I did before. I'm going to add a transform mask, go like this. The good thing is when things go stupid, usually reproducing them is pretty fast. Okay, so I'm just going to keep hitting this. Ah, Krita just died again? What the heck is going on? It's been like totally stable lately. Ha. What do you do with that? What do you do? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do it the OpenToonz way. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. Oh, I can't even believe. If I really want to do this smartly, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to just keep, let's see. Okay, that's his shadow layer. The mouse layer doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We'll get rid of that, even though we technically don't really have to. Okay, I don't even know what that is. I'm just going to delete it. There's the pencil test. Okay. Okay. So that layer is scaled. That's okay. Who cares? We'll just redo the scaling. That's fine. Get rid of that. Okay, and now what we have to do, utterly and completely as obnoxious as it is, we got to go up 1,000 frames and delete all of these frames and then clone the level. The problem with that is, it's kind of a big problem, is that if the TLV file has, wait a second, I think there's a better way. I just thought of a better way. Alright, here's the better way. Guys, this is where you're getting your money's worth on using Krita. I'm going to go here and hit the B key and just create a new Toonz raster level. And then I'm going to take this drawing and duplicate it. Then I'm going to come here and okay, should I scale it first or not? That is an important question. I don't think I need to, so I'm going to hit the S key. I wonder if I can just hit, yeah. So I'm going to hit Control C, and I'm going to jump into this drawing and hit Control V and see what happens. And unbelievably, well, okay guys, everything's always the opposite of what you hoped. It's always the opposite of what you hoped. So, okay. So what I need to do now, unbelievably, is I need to scale this layer like that. Okay? And then I need to scale the shadows like that. Okay? Now, It's just so obnoxious. So now the question becomes, does the scaling apply to the drawing, thus allowing you to cut and paste? I'll bet you anything it doesn't. So what that means is there's nothing I can do to take this drawing and just cut and paste it into this drawing unless I resize the canvas for this level. Okay, guys. Okay. So what do? Do we select the individual cells, canvas size, and we've got to size this up 1920 to 1080 and resize it. Okay, let's just save all. Okay, so now we know that these drawings are actually the correct size. I maybe can still hit the S key and paste it in, and it's still too big. OMG. So the problem with that is that it is almost 100% axiomatic that no matter what I do here, that the 2 frames I have to paste in will okay, let me think about this for a minute. This almost seems like a DPI issue. Okay, because it did. Okay, I know what I did wrong. Oh boy. Okay, let's go Z. The problem was that. My bad, guys. I was not. Okay, so I can delete this and delete this. There's no need to rescale those guys. Now I hit the S key, select all. S key, select all. I said Control C, and then if I go back over here and into this frame, okay, now I've successfully transported this over to here, so this whole level can be deleted. Okay, do I need to do the same thing on the shadows? Let me just see. You know, I'm gonna just redo the shadows. It's just be faster and easier to just redo it. So that means up here again in my cast, let's remove all unused levels, and thank goodness it shows that I only have the levels I need, although the background is still in there. Do we want to really clean this up? Let's clean it up. The way we do that is we select all these guys. This is just the kind of, you know, it's the kind of clunky steps you have to take because, you know, 8 months ago I kind of didn't know what I was doing, is really the gist of it. So, File, Save All. Now I'm going to hit K to go to the beginning and see if I can do this way. Let's grab these. Okay. And I'm going to go Control X. Will this work? Control V. It did work. Okay, so that's good. So now I'm going to change my start and stop marker. I'm actually going to extend my stop marker out a bit because there's going to be some adjusting going on. Okay, cool. So I'm again removing all unused levels. I'm again saving all. Now, you may ask, what is the next step? The next step is I'm going to duplicate this drawing. So now here's a drawing that is not actually exposed in the X sheet. Okay? So this is going to be on 2s, by the way. And I believe this would be the last frame. So we're going to have 1, 2, and then this is going to go to here. So that'll go to there. And this can be extended out the full length. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do some editing on this particular frame with the eraser. Fortunately, the eraser gives us the ability to hit the Alt key and resize it really quickly. So just gonna make like this, and we're not endangering that really long TLV level that was created months and months ago, because we're not operating on that. We actually cut and pasted this from one TLV level into another. Well, I guess I do need to erase lines, so unfortunately this is the meticulous thing I need to do. And I honestly might split this arm even into two pieces, actually. So what I'm doing is I'm giving myself the... Well, actually, I could use the plastic tool, come to think of it. So what I'm going to wind up doing is taking his left arm and erasing it from the other level. We're going to delete that arm right on out of there. Okay, so I'm going to save all, hit the H key, so I can just kind of get a little better bead on what I'm doing here, since I'm a righty. I am a righty, not a lefty. Okay. Just want to clean that off. Cleany, cleany, cleany. Okay. Reverse this. Again, I want to keep saving my work because Murphy's Law says I'm going to wind up losing it. So now I can take this arm, at least theoretically, take this arm and drag it over here. Okay. We don't need it on the first frame. So that frame stays the same, and that's the last one. So I'm going to say let's take this frame and make a duplicate. Now, is that going to screw up? Nope, it didn't. So here's the duplicate. And what we want to do here is, and by the way, we're going to drag this in here. We're going to extend this 4 frames. Yeah, this is a clunky situation to solve, but it's a, it's a valuable exercise too. So, okay, so now what I need to do is clean his hand off, all right? So let's just get rid of it, and probably the most prudent way to do that is going to be to sample this palette entry, hit the paintbrush, which is now set to paint lines and areas, so that's what we want. We're going to want to make this sucker big too. And then we're going to just paint his arm out. Paint it out, baby. Because we're effectively putting the arm on a different layer. So yeah, this is definitely a clunky way to have to do it, but it works, so no problema. So we'll get rid of that line entirely. Okay, and then I'm going to sample this palette entry. I'm not sampling the RGB color. I'm doing this. I'm doing the style picker. By default in OpenToonz, the hotkey for that is K. I've actually changed, and it shows as being K, but it really isn't. I've actually changed that in my OpenToonz installation to be the G key. And that was just an ergonomic decision based on where the letters are on the keyboard. Okay, so now we can turn this back on. And we can see a little issue. So let's go back to this. And I'm going to say let's just test this a couple times. Not too... I guess we really could just do this with the other arm in there. So now we can go back here, grab our ink, hit the B key, and by the way, save your work. Save your work, Dave, so you don't regret it. Give that a firmer outline, and there we go. Okay, so this is the last frame. Actually, we're going to make this probably the intermediate frame. Yeah. Yeah, let's take these two, get rid of them, put this one up here. Okay. So now what we need to do, I think just for completeness, we probably should use the, well, we don't want to use the animate tool if we're going to use the plastic tool. So let's go File, Save All. And now we're going to hit the X key, and we're going to see if we can do this animation and tweak it up really nicely with the plastic tool. It's a little risky because we have to bend the arm kind of a lot, so this is going to require a fair amount of setup. So let's give it a nice clean anchor. I'm just going to actually create a couple extra nodes here. And then what I want to do here is probably give myself at least 2 nodes for the joint, and then just to be safe, I'm going to assume I probably want to have some extra nodes here for tweaking. Let's find out if I'm wrong. This could get really ugly, folks. Trust me. Yeah. Okay. 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 Looks like I called this one right, actually. So, okay, so I'm going to actually hit the undo so I can here we want to go like that. Why? No. Sorry guys, I'm a little confused here. What's going on? This is deforming fine. Oh. Right. That's the intermediate step. So actually what's going to happen is here, those keys are not going to be there. And these 4, Control C, Control V. So it's just a little more confusing than it should be because I'm actually using these 2 frames twice. So let's go ahead and put that like so. Then we come up here, bend this. And obviously, like I said, this is the issue right here. That's why I gave myself a little extra control with these node points. Okay, so now let's see if it feels kind of right. Okay, other than I think the last one should be a little more sweeping. So let's just play this back a couple times and see if it feels alright. Feels quite good. Alright, so now what we'll do is we'll hit Alt down arrow to say let's extend, just basically put a hold on this, and now we have a shot that's 1 second long. It should be pretty good. So rewind, sorry, my bad, undo that. I hit rewind, I hit W. Bad idea, because W means something really different in OpenToonz than it does in Krita, or at least I should say the W key does. Okay. Okay, so that worked. The only caveat being, and it's a bit of a caveat, is that right there, this section right here falls apart. Believe it or not, guys, I'm going to totally kludge this in this way. Okay. I'm going to color that, hit the R key, sample that color in there. I just patched it. Problem solved, and then we'll just extend this down here. So this is just a patch layer. File, save all. Okay guys, now the question becomes, are we satisfied with this action being on 2s, or do we want to consider maybe putting it on 3s? Well, let's go back here and see what we had here. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think the key really is not whether it's going to be on 2s or 3s. The key is we need to hold this initial position. All right, I'm going to give him 1 whole second. Yep, and then I'm going to extend this down to probably 48, I think. Yep. So we're going to make it a 2-second long shot. Boom. Okay, all good. So the one thing I have not done is animate my camera. And actually this shot, well, let's take the opportunity to use the camera column, because frankly this shot should be zoomed in, shouldn't it? So here's what we'll do. We'll take the camera, hit the animate tool, and it is the camera being animated. I better go back to my basics so I get the... Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, I think I want... Do I want to do control? No. Okay, stop. Undo. Darn it. Okay, let's go into the 3D view and... Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, I don't want to move the... I don't want to scale the camera. I want to move the camera. Okay, that's what I wanted. So now, carefully put it there. And I would say, let's go ahead and I'm just going to check this. It's not like this was all that great to begin with, but yeah, this is garbage. Delete. 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 Nope. Get rid of all that. And then we'll just go here so that when we drag the new one in, it'll be in the right spot. Cool. We got through this, didn't we? So, K key, and he's going to go... Whoop. I'm feeling like two things. Number one, I'm feeling like maybe this is too zoomed in, so I'm going to hit the animate tool again. Position. And so that was our initial position. I just want to go in a little bit. So let me just double check the zoom. Okay, yeah. And then I want to go ahead and run this all the way down to here. And I think maybe just a little bit in. Cool. So, thank you, Plastic Tool, for saving my bacon. And now what we need is B key. Alright, and unfortunately, yeah, this is a little silly. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's just animate this up. Alright, maybe this will work. So we're gonna scale this layer, because it doesn't have to be super sharp. Let's just scale it up and then go from there. I think that'll work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep this really simple so that maybe we'll get lucky and be able to mostly use the same shadow layer for everything. We probably won't get that lucky, but okay, so there's the shadow. So I don't think this is going to work, but we'll try it. Actually it did work. Okay, pretty much. Now I'm going to grab the V key and fine tune this. So V key being the paint brush as opposed to the just brush. And here I'm going to cheat a bit. I'm going to go ahead and do this knowing that I'm bleeding the shadow into the background, but it doesn't matter. Now we could use a compositing effect to lock the shadow to the character, but in this case there's just no need to do it. And the only other thing is right there. I want to catch a little bit more of that. Okay, save all, save early, save often, right? Okay, and if we're going to really be cool about it, like uber cool, why don't we go into our 3D view and do two things. Let's take this. And by the way, if you're trying this at home, you probably want to open another window, and I'm going to have to put it in the other screen. But I'm going to open another window that, let's just do either a viewer or a combo viewer. I'll do a viewer. Okay, and I'm going to move this up to another screen. So what this lets me do is I can do some 3D adjustments, and I'll be able to see what's happening in 2D in this other screen. So why am I doing that? Well, because I'm grabbing this image, and I don't want to scale it. I want to position it first of all. So the first thing I'm going to do is move this back, like so. Now in the other window you can see what happens. So now it's too small, and now what we'll do is scale it back up. So we put some distance, and just for kicks and giggles, by the way, I'm going to move this over just a little bit. So now what should happen, because it's further back in 3D space, is we should get a little bit of parallax when the camera moves. Well, okay, we need to... Boy, it's pretty subtle. Pretty subtle, folks. But you can kind of feel it, so... That's fine. That'll work. Get rid of that. Go back to here. And let's do a quick render. Fortunately, the rendering is quick. Just kind of see what things look like. Okay. Changed my mind on the shadow. Obviously, you're probably screaming at me right now like, really, Dave? Boom. So here we're going to, how do we want to do this? Do we want to make a duplicate? Yeah, let's make a duplicate. Let's go D key, and then let's use, wow, okay, really? Really, that's what you're going to do, OpenToonz? Okay, so what just happened was something that happens with OpenToonz. It's one of the reasons why I actually avoid OpenToonz sometimes. I hate to say it, but OpenToonz totally loses track of its own undo history. Wow. Okay. So when I hit undo, it didn't actually go back and do the undo steps that were actually there. Pretty maddening. Pretty maddening. But okay, we can work with it. We're going to work with it. So there's that. That's going to be on the screen for 2 frames, right? Okay, so now we can go in and make some mods to this, like so. So that's all good. Hit the eraser here just a little bit to clear up his shoulder situation. Okay, so now here I'm going to hit duplicate. And just keep doing more of the same. I'm just going to touch this baby up. And let's see. I get a little bit off there. V key. Paintbrush again. That's cool. And then duplicate. And let's hit the eraser. By the way, this is gonna stretch a poo all the way down to there. So fine, no problem. We fixed it in a hurry, didn't we? So that looks good. Now, the one thing that doesn't look quite so good is, frankly, this arm on that pose. Let's go here. $971. So we got $971 up here. Yeah, gosh, I really think I want to make a slight mod to this. It's going to require me to also modify the shadow probably as well, but it's worth it. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, so back to the shadow layer and hit the eraser, and we just have to tune that up right there, and actually I suppose here as well. So again, we'll just do the same thing we did before. V key, that looks fine, and this does not. Okay. Wait a second. There is an issue with this right there. I don't like that. Getting a little bit sloppy there, Dave. Yeah. Okay, we'll just tighten that up. Okay, I think we're good. Wow, we've been going for an hour here. Well, we've gotten, if I remember correctly, we've gotten 2 shots done. Have we not? It's amazing. How do I sit here and for just an hour and I can't even remember what I did? Okay. Alright, so when his head turns that way, the shadow is slightly objectionable for me. In other words, I'm seeing it chatter, which is not really acceptable. Oh my goodness, really, dude? Right there, look at that chatter. Okay. Zoom in. Oh, that's bad. This is actually the kind of thing that can really become a time suck. What you've got is just a slight difference between these 2 frames, and the problem is that it's causing visible chatter. Okay, that might be okay. Let's go to actual size and see. Yeah, that's probably okay. Okay. Save that. Let's, what is this? This is one, well, I guess it's in the, yeah, 137. So Control R. We're almost done. Let's save the images in the render folder 0137.mp4. Cool beans. We got through it, didn't we? What was the other thing we were working on? Oh yeah, that's right. This shot. I forgot. Forgot about this shot. Okay, and here's where 137 is going to go. So let's go like that. And then we will go here, and we need to refresh. Boop. And then we should be able to find 137. Okay, there's the TIFFs. Where is the MP4? The pings and the TIFFs are there, but the MP... Well, I know. Well, wait. Would it be... Ah, there it is. Drag this guy to here. Not too bad. Not too bad. It is unfortunate. What I need to do is get this up and out of the way. hit Alt A so everything's unselected, or deselected I guess would be the more appropriate term. And okay, what the heck was that, Blender? B key. I wrap around all these guys. That time it grabbed them. So now let's go hit the G key, kind of move these guys back out of the way. And this is the problem I described earlier. Well, I guess not. I guess it's not going to do it. Blender's not very consistent on some of the silly things it does. Okay, so these are still images that I apparently animated here in Blender. So B key, grab all these guys, and then we got to get these lined back up again. Blender's video sequence editor does allow ripple editing, but in my experience it doesn't actually work at all, and never has, as far as I can tell. If somebody out there has some insight on how to do proper ripple editing in the Blender video sequence editor, by all means let me know. I'd love to know how to do it. So we're looking good though. We're looking good. Okay, now I've been eschewing a lot of color correction here. I guess the solution is to take this shot and get rid of all the tints. We need to get this. So I'm going to save that. So we're going to do actually one more shot fix right now. OpenToonz, we are done with you for now. You're gone. Let's go to Krita. And the shot, I believe, is going to be 0141. So the problem here is we've got a certain level of brightness here and here, but this one shot is like a little out of sync when it comes to color correction. The color correction really does need to be there, but I want to do the color correction on a broad basis, like at the track level, not at the clip level, since then you wind up having duplicate color correction filters, like there's hundreds of them. Gets to be a little clunky. Yes, a little clunky. How you doing over there, baby? Alright, so almost done here. Let's go 141. So we're actually going to be tweaking on 3 different shots. Hopefully I didn't bake the color into it. There. That's just a shadow. So is that the only tint? Yep, there's a Kari. What's that? Get rid of that. What is this? That's okay. Yeah, I don't mind those. But this, that darkens it down, I don't like. So now let's compare this to this. It's probably okay. Gosh, I think we're okay. So let's just save this and overwrite this. This is 141.mp4. In order for this to work, I need to close the edit. Control R. This needs to go into the render folder. Overwrite it. Yes, indeedy. So that will magically update in Blender when we reopen the edit. And I would say we're done for this session. An hour and 9 minutes. I haven't done well over an hour in quite a while. As far as videos go, I actually have done some, and they turned into like rants. Like I almost started ranting today, didn't I? A little bit about OpenToonz, but if it turns into too much of a rant, I tend to just delete the video and go, I just don't really want to be that guy. Okay, so what I am gonna do, since these 2 shots were done in Blender. Well, wait a minute. Gosh, let's go to full size. Yeah. It's kind of maddening, but you can see here that the anti-aliasing when I rendered this out was like completely lame. I guess we could explore this possibility. As long as we're doing a longer video, let's just check it out. Okay, so what am I getting at? Well, this is shot number 142, and this was originally done in Blender 2.8. So what actually happened was, the other day I opened this up and found it to be a mess. Okay. Now, this is the background image, so okay. So we got that in there, and that's obviously the shot we replaced. We replaced both of those shots. But what I want to do is, I mean, it is a mess, but it's not that much of a mess. So let me just see what I can do here. Let's go. First of all, let's just hit F12 and see what renders. Okay. Well, okay. Let's give it a crack. Since. Okay. Can't talk and, can't walk and chew gum at the same time. The anti-aliasing there does look better. So it looks like what I had before was an OpenGL render, and maybe this is a final render. But if it was in Blender 2.8, I don't know that I would have done an OpenGL render. So it's a little strange situation. But let's see what we can do. So this is actually an AVI. So I would guess if I just render this, it's probably going to overwrite it, which probably also means I need to go File, New again, here. And then let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to hit Control F12, and let's just take a close look. See, look at that. That is horrible. Time out, guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is horrible. You can't have anti-aliasing like that. Now this, when I zoom in, it looks fine. But when it renders, it's a mess. Wow. I mean, look at that. But when I render it, look at that. What is going on? Is it something about the resolution? I mean, it's 1280 by 720. Maybe I'm not doing the appropriate anti-aliasing on render, but where the heck do you set that? In Blender 2.8. I'm befuddled here, folks. I admit it. I am befuddled. U layer. Okay, it's Eevee. Okay. It's rendering with Eevee. That's probably what we need to do. Sampling, render viewport. Let's just crank this up to like 128, which is a nice multiple of 2. And let's do the same thing here in the viewport just to see what happens. Okay, let's see if that helps. And it doesn't help at all. Like, when would that ever be acceptable? Bloom, depth of field, blah, 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 hair, shadows. Sampling, I mean, you would think sampling is... Let's just see what happens if we do a workbench render. Okay, then it doesn't have the background, but the grease pencil still looks like garbage. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe, in fact, this isn't even the grease pencil. Maybe this is an image mapped to the plane, to a plane or something. Nope, it's a grease pencil object. So, is there a anti-aliasing function for the render of the grease pencil strokes? If you know the answer, I'm going to stop because I don't want to bore you guys with this all day long. If you know the answer, please post a comment because I would love to know what the heck is going on. In Blender 2.79, if you did an OpenGL render, you could pretty easily massage the level of oversampling and anti-aliasing that occurred on OpenGL. It wasn't perfect, but it sure didn't look like this. So with that, I'm going to leave it. Yeah, hour and 15 minutes. And so, yeah, if you know the answer, please post something and help me out here because this is really maddening. I just can't. I mean, it's Eevee. There is no scenario unless you're just doing a quick preview to see what the action looks like. I can't imagine a scenario where you'd ever want something to render looking like that. Very, very strange. So anyway, with that, there will be more later.